Good morning and welcome back to Miniature Monday here on Gaming with ADHD. I mean, it's not 8:30 in the morning, it's not 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but we're gonna do this, because I have clearly no concept of reasonable amounts of time. Anyways, it is April Fool's Day. No, this video is not a joke. I'm not going to do something goofy or silly or weird. We did that last year with Cat Cafe Adventures or something. I don't know, whatever. It was cheesy and dumb, but that's how I roll. But I do hope you all had a wonderful Easter weekend. Hope your April Fool's Day wasn't too bad, all things considered, obviously. But yeah, so cool. Let's see. I did actually have a good week. I did not stream on Friday, partly because we had family in town, partly because I have ended up, I don't know. I'm a glutton for punishment. I ended up working 3 extra days, so about 25 hours worth of overtime. So, that's I'm just a disaster, but you know what? Let's go ahead and let's get started. I don't know if any of you have watched the video that I posted today. I did get a review of the Rifts miniatures that I got from the Christmas surprise box. So I finally got these assembled. And I really, really like these. They're nice figures. They were a bit of a pain to get assembled, but they just look really, really good. So that I'm not entirely sure if that is going to be the next project I start for painting. But it's up there. Probably, if not the next one, probably the one after. So, what are we doing today? Well, I finished Harlequin last Monday. So today, today, I just need to do a little bit of work on his base. And then we're going to finish off Aina. Aina is apparently a friend of his. And I knew I was going to forget something. So give me 1 second, folks. If you're going to do a painting stream, it might be helpful to actually have your paints. I'm just going to throw that out there. All right. Nothing but professionals here. Hey, Curtis. Good morning. Yeah, Curtis, who goes over to his buddy's house to paint and doesn't invite me along. I see how it is, bruh. Anyhow, actually, it was fun. We did have my brother-in-law and his family in town. Got to spend some time with them, so that was really good. All right, so we're doing magenta for Aina's jacket and pants. Let's see, we're probably going to need some black. I feel like I need another color in there. I'm going to use some silver on some of the highlight bits. Where are the grays? think I need a little bit of a dry brush on the boots. There's a lot of detail on there that I need to pick off. You know, I'm going to use some of my other paints, even though I'm trying to use all pro acryls. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. So anyway, so here is Aina. All right. I want to do the dry brush over the boots to pick out those details. So let's use some Reaper Cloudy Gray. Works for me. So, mildly interesting development. I am essentially working on getting ready to play a Necromunda campaign. A friend of mine has had it for a while. He comes over when, he's part of my my group for BattleTech. Curtis, that's what we should have done when you were over. Yeah, that's interesting. There's a whole texture here. It looks like laces. And I'm kind of tempted to go over it with a color. Pull that detail out a little bit more. Anyways, so he's part of our BattleTech group. Dr. Death, hello. Flanman, good morning. Yeah, I do apologize for not being very consistent with my live streams lately. I'm in a little bit of a hobby funk. So while I'm still trying to do stuff, it has been easy to let myself get distracted. Yeah, Dr. Death, that I have seen. I will admit I am not entirely sure, how upset I need to be. Like, I checked my shipping and it was like $40. The short answer, Flanman, is everybody went to check their shipping before it gets locked down. And there are people that say they back the Kickstarter for like $1,500 and it's going to cost $500 in shipping. So it's pretty ridiculous. Now, like in my case, I backed at 150. I didn't add a lot of stuff during the pledge manager, and I'm paying about $40 in shipping. So I think the bigger issue is the fact that, let me back up. All right. I don't ship stuff a lot, but I ship periodically. And to be honest with you, the pricing does not seem out of line. However, uh, if you keep in mind, like from the Kickstarter, there were no discounts. There were no like $250 for an $800. Yeah, see, basically what I'm hearing is about one third the ship or one third the cost is what you're having to pay in shipping, and that's pretty ridiculous. And I think one of the problems is the fact, like, this is literally just something that I thought of, so I have no idea how accurate it is, but I think it stands to reason. But like, you're paying retail for everything. You're not getting, a Kickstarter bonus. You're not paying, like it's hey, these mech packs are going to be $30 at release, but for the Kickstarter backers, you get it for $20. They're not doing any of that. So you're paying full refund, or you're paying full retail. You're not getting it. You're going to get some stuff like a little bit early, but even then, it's it's not that significant. So yeah, I don't know. I just paying taxes twice. Okay, yeah, there's another added bonus. So it's I don't know, maybe like I want to say maybe Kickstarter is on the way out, but maybe it's just Kickstarter for Catalyst. So Flanman, I don't know if you've heard me talk about it before. I am not a Catalyst insider, but let's just say that I'm not privy to all information, but I know more than others. As far as this particular situation, I don't have any more specific details, but things like, the company's bogus or the company's going out of money or things like that, isn't true. They've released plenty of products outside of Kickstarter, and not just books. Like, keep in mind, like the mercenary packs that started with the Wolf's Dragoons, those are like, none of those were announced in the Clan Invasion Kickstarter. So those are all products that have come since Clan Invasion took off. They've talked about releases out through like 2025 or 2026 or something. So there's a lot that they're doing that doesn't rely on Kickstarter. Keep in mind, Kickstarter is essentially a marketing tool at this point. Everybody likes to say, "Oh, well, it's supposed to be for new designers." But it's like, when was the last time that you actually were interested in a Kickstarter that was being done by somebody completely new, not somebody that, like, hey, look, we've already sculpted 40 different miniatures, which a miniature sculpt is going to run you $300 to $600 on average. So maybe higher, sometimes maybe less. So if you're coming in with a game that's got 40 sculpts, you've already sunk a ton of money into getting those designs done. I don't disagree about causing vitriol within the fan base. I know there are quote unquote specific reasons for some of it, although again, not privy to all of it. And I disagree with a lot of them. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's tons of companies that are using Kickstarter. And a lot of them do really well. I mean, even Catalyst overall has done okay. Maybe sometimes less okay than others, but, it's definitely a mix. But yeah, short answer, I don't necessarily think they deserve all the grief that they get. But there's a lot of grief that they get that is absolutely justified. So, anyhow, these are very small models. Holy crap. Let's see. All right, I need fair skin, blonde hair. There we go. Tanned skin. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, I've done a bunch of Kickstarter games over the years. That's another thing. I do like, it's weird because, like, as much as I enjoy the gaming hobby, sometimes I wonder, maybe we need a little less games in the hobby. But I don't really want to gatekeep people who want to make games, because, I mean, you never know. So this is kind of strange, but I'm trying to do since she's got African skin tone, she doesn't have dark brown palms of her hands, but it looks odd. Oh, maybe it will come out in the wash. So yeah, it's definitely complicated. I think Catalyst is doing more positive than not, although I don't know. It's definitely complicated. All right, fair warning, folks. Kim is not in danger if you're hearing the pots and pans. Although I may have to step away for a minute if assistance is needed with the chicken. Yeah, Kim, why are you making noise?
Chicken, I gotta go take care of.
Anyhow, so I will be interested to see what comes of the shipping debacle. It's oof. Because also we still haven't heard what their proposed solution is. I'm actually going to use the magnifier to see if I can paint Aina's face and not have it look ridiculous. Okay, that doesn't work. All right. And it was Patrick Goodman who pointed out last week that he always kind of envisioned this character as having a look like Storm from the X-Men. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Which I realize that looks absolutely horrible on the screen. Yeah, Thunder Road was a big hit at Dice Tower West. I think I backed the Kickstarter for like $1. which I have a tendency to do lately. Like I'll just back $1 and then like forget about it. So like I have access to the pledge manager, I can get stuff, and then I don't. But that's cool that it's good. Like I remember it as a kid. But I'm not entirely sure if I played it. Yeah, see, Restoration, like, yeah, it is available on Amazon, but also Restoration is one of those companies that, like, when people want to complain about companies using Kickstarter, and it's like, you know, look at Restoration. Number one, to get those, because all of their games are licensed, all of them. That's the whole point. So the cost to get a licensed property is not inexpensive. And then you look at what they actually produce. Again, not inexpensive. Like the engineering costs alone for like Return to Dark Tower. Has to be off the charts. At least compared to your average board game, because it's not just doing the art and printing it. Hey, Chris. Thanks, buddy. Dr. Death, I think there's a reasonable argument to be made there. Like, my understanding with these fulfillment houses is just like, hey, Malachi, just about, man, I'm trying to paint eyebrows on this miniature and it's not easy. So I don't use it often, but sometimes I got to pull out the magnifier to see what I'm doing. Anyways, so shipping companies, it's like, okay, so you have an item. All right, for me to put an item in a box, I am going to charge you $1. And if it's one item, I mean, who cares? You know. But then you get something like BattleTech, and it's like, okay, so we have 80 potential items, and then we're gonna, charge $1 per item. Then we got to find a box. Then we got to figure out how much U.S. Postal charges, and then we've got to figure out then we're going to pad a little bit extra on there for the box, and then we're going to charge a little bit more, and then we're going to charge a little bit more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so then suddenly, one order just spirals out of control as far as the shipping's concerned. So, and it absolutely does happen. All right. No. So anyways, it's absolutely complicated. I wish I had a good answer that I could share. But I suspect there's going to be a lot more people upset versus the other way around. Trying to get a little bit of highlight in here, because this dark brown really just kind of obscures a lot of detail. So anyways, so there are going to be a lot of people that ask for a refund. There have already been people that asked for refunds. I know I mentioned it before. My friend who was a Kerensky backer, he hadn't even gotten to the shipping stage yet, and he had canceled his pledge, which was a little disappointing, because then that also means that, like, the hookup that I was expecting a lot of the stuff, that's not happening anymore. I mean, Kim is fine with it. I'm a little disappointed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me getting more game stuff. You're not upset over that.
Like I said before, if you want to add to your collection, you have to purge first.
What? No.
I'm gonna encourage game bulimia.
Game bulimia. That's mildly disturbing, dear.
You are, and the garage is. Have you seen the garage?
We don't have a garage.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is probably one of the roughest miniatures I've ever tried to paint. I mean, I like it. I like the retro styling of it, but man, it is small. And some of these details. Like, I'm not even entirely sure how people painted these back in the day. Like the old school players that would play Napoleonic Napoleonic war games, and they're obsessed with did you paint the right number of buttons on the jacket? It's just like I'm not even sure how you see that there's the right number of buttons. Anyways, so Dr. Death, I'll get you actually I'll answer Dr. Death first. When I went to the board game convention in Vegas, there was a lady who used to have a game store back in the 90s, and she had a bunch of old Shadowrun miniatures, and one of the packs was this Harlequin and Aina 2-pack for $10. And like most of the other packs, she was wanting like $20 for, and so I'm like, $10 done. I don't even care. I was a little excited because I thought these were like original 1991 miniatures that were full of lead. And then one day while I was working on them, I noticed if I can get it to show up. Short answer, it's copyright 1996. So that's well after the transition from lead miniatures to pewter miniatures. So a little disappointing, but yeah, so Flanman, as far as Ironwind's concerned, I'll be honest, I generally don't like the old Ral Partha miniatures. Especially compared to the new stuff. The new stuff is good. The only real complaint that I have is that it's very, very samey. Like it looks like all of the mechs look like they could have come out of the same factory. But we kind of talked about that last time because basically you're dealing with designing an entire line over the space of about 4 years, whereas like all the original BattleTech designs came out over about 20 years. And then especially when you've got an art director pushing the team, all right, we are all going this direction. Unfortunately, you're going to lose some of that distinctiveness from the different eras. But I have been a little tempted to go check it out for some old school Shadowrun miniatures to kind of boost the collection a little bit. Good morning, Cal. Sort of. This is the time that I had today. I worked like 25 hours of overtime this past weekend, and plus family, plus friends in town, etc., etc., etc. So, I slept all afternoon. So, yeah, it's evening here too. It's this is essentially my my pre-work stream because I still work the night shift and start at like 9:30. So this was the few minutes I had available. So so this is when we're gonna do the Miniature Monday paint stream, because I that's the thing. I need to be better about I need to be better about doing my streams anyways. So I'd rather do it late than not do it. But two mains demons. I think you're autocorrect. Gotcha. Lemure demon. What are Lemure demons? Is that a 40K thing?
That sounds French.
Kim is voting for something French. Okay, Otherworld miniatures, lowest form of demons from old D&D. All right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was going to be like a 40K thing. Which I'm still not inclined to cover on the channel. However, I think I even started telling this story at the beginning of the stream, but you all know how I roll. We're probably going to see some Necromunda coverage coming. Because a friend of mine has been asking me to play it for a couple of years now. And I was just resistant. And been pulling away from most everything Games Workshop. But then I was over at his house last week picking up Girl Scout cookies. Because his daughter's in Girl Scouts. And essentially his wife was begging me to get him out of the house. And so needless to say, I just got kind of thinking about it, and he's always a good sport with me in games that I want to play. And then after I left his house, I was over at the used bookstore, and I found a couple of Necromunda rule books for super cheap. So it's like, you know what? I think I need to humble myself a little bit for my friend, and it's not a charity project. Kim is now bus chucking me for saying, you know what? I should sometimes play games that my friends would like to play.
That's not how you worded it, sir. That sounds much better.
Anyhow, so short answer, we're going to end up playing some Necromunda. And we'll see. Flanman, no, I have not given Renegade Legion a try yet. That's because I keep getting distracted on stuff. Like games of Necromunda, or Battletech, or Shadowrun, or Star Trek, or, whatever else tickles my fancy this week. So yeah, I have not tried that yet, although it is still on my list. I still have everything. I'm still proud to say that I've got the complete collection of Renegade Legion, but I just haven't played it. So, and Cal, no, it's not that Girl Scout cookies are more evil than 40K. It's just that the Girl Scouts are not a youth organization. They're just a front for a cookie company. Because, seriously, when do you hear about Girl Scouts doing anything? And I'm not trying to pick on the girls. It's not their fault. And heck, I may be out of line, but I'm right. Actually, what's funny is like, so when 2-3 years ago, when the Boy Scouts opened it up to the girls, I'll be honest, I wasn't really opposed to it. I actually think that they did it in a reasonable way. You know, it's still boys troops and girls troops. You know, but essentially the girls have access to the same program that the boys do. And that's fine. You know, everybody's like, oh, why would they do this? You know, the Girl Scouts are already an organization, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, I've heard for decades about girls not liking the Girl Scout program. And so if they didn't like the girls' program and you kept hearing stories about girls that wanted to do the boys' program, why didn't the Girl Scouts go to the Boy Scouts and say, hey, we're both scouting organizations, you know, like, what's the minimal license fee that you would require for us to use your program, but we'll run it for the girls? You know, but they didn't want to do that. So instead, you know, everybody kept saying, you know, let girls into the Boy Scouts. So they're like, fine. It's like, congratulations, you played yourself. But so that's my point, Malachi, is the Girl Scouts already existed. The Girl Scouts have existed almost as long as the Boy Scouts. But, you know, no one opted for my plan, as usual. Yeah, so the Girl Scouts already existed there. Like, all they had to do was just be like, hey, we would like your program. You know, and I bet you anything the Boy Scouts would have been like, hey, that's fine. Just pay us, you know. Actually, they don't even have to do that. Like they could. Anyways, my point being, there's a million different ways it could have been. It could have just been like pulled over and adapted very easily, probably very cheaply, but they didn't want to do that, and now you see where it's at. Like, the Boy Scouts are contracting, but the Girl Scouts are contracting even more. So, like, I'd be very curious how many, because like usually I hear about Girl Scouts for like young girls, like under 12, but I don't hear about it for the teenage girls the same way I hear about it for the teenage boys. But that's also because I am an Eagle Scout. So, and 2 of my boys are Eagle Scouts, and 1 is a difficult turd. No, I don't. Okay, I'm not actually complaining about the cookies. That's fine. I think that was marketing genius. They have that thing locked down 8 ways from Sunday, and like you can buy the exact same cookies from Keebler at the grocery store for like half the price. But every February, whether you like Girl Scouts or not, you're buying the dang cookies. So, thank you very much. So trust me, I'm not giving the Girl Scouts grief over the cookies. It's just in my head, all I ever hear about is the cookies, and that's it. Like even friends I've had with kids in Girl Scouts, they don't really like the one friend that like his daughter was really into it. Like I heard more about the drama between all of the moms as opposed to like the cool things that the girls were doing. So it's probably just a failing of my part for not paying attention, but who knows? Anyways, so that's why I'm saying everyone respects the Eagle Scout program. So why they didn't just adapt it to the girls, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. It doesn't even have to be big things. Like one of my sons did like he planted trees at a park literally a quarter of a mile away from us. I can walk over and it's like, oh, there's the trees that my son planted. What did my other son do? I don't even remember what my other son did. But it wasn't as complex, but he got it done. Mine, I went to, so I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but the Mormon Church has its own sort of goodwill type place. You know, just like a, you know, get rid of your old crap. And when I was a kid, because it's still technically part of the church, it's a nonprofit organization. Basically, like they had some exposed insulation in the ceiling in a part of the building, and they're like, "Hey, we need someone to come put it up." And so that's what I did, is because like we could only do it when the store was closed, and so we went and we put up ceiling tiles, and that was my Eagle project. You know, they're probably still there. Actually, now I should go in there. Because there was one ceiling tile, like the last one, we had the guy that put it up, we had him sign it. That was 30-something years ago. So I have absolutely no idea if it's still up there, but it would be hilarious if it was. Now I need to go back. Now I need to go. I've driven by a few times. I've never thought about that. Now I need to go check it out. All right. So I'm not entirely happy with Aina because her face is so dark. Here, let me get her closer. So it's not bad. Not super happy with that one, but it's fine. No, Malachi, I didn't get a plaque. Like I said, we just signed the ceiling tile and stuck it up there. So we'll see. I am gonna have to go. I have it set to manual focus. So like I'm just, the face is horrible. I don't like from arm's length away, it looks fine. I just it's a little. It's the dark tones. I don't know as well how to work with them because most of like the light tones, I just paint the light tones on, hit it with a wash, and then it gets in the cracks and it shadows it all just fine. But with a dark tone, you've got to lighten it, and that is something I am not very good at. Anyways, overall, I think they're fine. There's some fun miniatures to have. Like, I kept the packaging more or less intact. So I'm kind of tempted to just stick them back in the package, and leave them that way. But that's just kind of me, because like eventually I'll do stuff back here. Anyways, but all right. I now need to eat, but I wanted to paint. I wanted to stream. I wanted to get these done. So I'm gonna call these good. So thanks for letting me rant. Let's see. So again, if you hadn't checked it out, I did put up the post-assembly review of the Rifts miniatures. Some nice close-ups, 360 turnarounds, so you can actually see what those look like, and I'll tell you my thoughts on those. So do check that out. And I'm going to try and have a board game and a role-playing review this week. I've got an interview coming up on Thursday, and we'll see on Friday. I should be here on Friday. It all depends. I am very tired. But okay, I'm going to stop rambling. You folks have a wonderful evening. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we will talk to you next time. So